What's up, you guys? Trying to get the sun out of my eyes. I'm coming to you live from Pipeline here at the North Shore of Oahu. And I'm Annie Cowden. I'm the host of Invite the Magic, also the Disney Desk on my IGTVs. Check it out. We got all the Disney news you'd ever want on there. But today we have an important message about you and your life. Important enough that I'm taking the time from the beach to tell you this message in case you stumble upon it or search for it, or I believe will be drawn to this message at the right time of your life. So what I need you to really get a grasp on is there's voices going on in your head, and you think they're you, but it's not you. That's the thing. That's the tricky thing, is like once that clicks and you're like, oh my gosh, like I was just acting like a robot. Like there's patterns and thoughts that say things like, I'll just start on Monday. I was born this way. I'm not good enough. This is just how I am. I'll do it when I'm ready. I'll do it next year. I'm not the type of person who fill in the blank. All of these thoughts are what we call lies from the devil. They're just blasphemous lies. They're not true. And how do we recognize them? Well, what do you want to do? Why are you saying why you can't do it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's take my trip to Hawaii, for example. Let's take this trip to Hawaii, and you might say something similar. You might say like, okay, so all of COVID, let's just be real, all of every day of my life, I want to go to Hawaii all the time, because I think a lot of people do, but I really wanted to go. Like sometimes aloha just calls and you just cannot deny. Like that's why it's a saying, the island is calling, because it really does. And I am very connected to where locations are calling me to, and it was calling me real hard. So the basic formula will go like this. Thought, I want to go to Hawaii. Second thought, I can't. I have work. It's too much money. Those are the biggest excuses. And you're probably like, they're not excuses. That's legitimate. I freaking can't take time off. Or like, I literally don't see the money in my bank account. And I'm like, okay, so I have the same thoughts too. Like I don't like to just ditch work. Nobody does. So I then say to myself though, like, okay, that's fine. Like, that's a great thought. And then I ask a follow-up question. I say, how could I go to Hawaii? If it was possible for me to go to Hawaii, what would that look like? If I was going to Hawaii, what next step would I take? Would I start looking at hotel rooms? Would I start browsing flights? And you start doing that, because until you at least put yourself in the realm of like the person who's going to Hawaii, of course you're not going to go. Secondly, you're the creator of your life. Like you're so the creator of your life. And so as long as you don't try to bend a rule, the rule will be there for you. But the rule is not really set in stone. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, do you catch what I'm throwing at you? I'm throwing it to you. I'm throwing you some wisdom. I hope that it's sinking into your soul. So long as you are committed, basically this is about your excuses. Like you've heard the saying, like, stop being so committed to your excuses, divorce your excuses. Like, we all have them. We all have different ones. It's like where we say we can't. And then one day it's like you kind of just realize like, oh, it's not like set in stone. Like it doesn't have to be that way. So just the first step is just exploring. Like what would another way look like? Like how could it be possible? Or I just learned this new question. Who could help me? Like give me a call. If you're like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, like how could I expand my mind? Life is about expansion and being a beginner's mindset. Beginner's mindset is not thinking you know everything. And I think thinking you know everything is the mindset of like, nope. Being like so rigid that you're just so committed you can't go to Hawaii, or so committed that you can't get into the school you want to go to, or you couldn't get a scholarship, or you couldn't get the job, or whatever it was. Like that's where like the unnecessary stubbornness comes in, where like you're only like keeping yourself in a prison instead of being free like you are. It's like, okay, like you can act like there's a prison there, but it's really not there. It's just imaginary. Or like the only limits exist in your mind. Like that saying, same idea, same premise. So like, wow, guys, it was like pouring like 30 minutes ago. The weather here is just like crazy. This is supposed to be like some gnarly waves. That's why I came to check it out. I cannot believe the people surfing here. It's like so Anyway, just wanted to like go through that with you. Like sometimes we just need a reminder of like, let's just start asking the right questions. Like let's just say, how could we do it? How could it be done? How could I, if I was to do it, what might be done? Because you're having the desire for a reason, my friend, right? So like, if you're like, I really want to make a YouTube channel, and you're like, keep telling yourself why you can't, I guarantee you, your next door neighbor Charlie doesn't want to make a YouTube channel. Like that's like a really big wake up call too, is when you're like, oh my gosh, everyone around me doesn't even have the same dream as me. So it is for you after all. Like it totally, after all, it is made for you. And don't ignore your heart. Don't ignore it. It'll never make you happy. It'll only serve you to follow your heart.